free speech, our First Amendment rights, fundamentally important. But as it stands right now, as the pro-Palestinian protesters are being cracked down on, as they are being silenced, Kevin O'Leary on Fox News says, hey, AI and Google already has all your imagery, and none of you are going to get hired. So their right to protest is going to prohibit them from getting a job now. Way to go, because as these protests continue to grow, as they gather more supporters and followers, way to go, U.S. government and bureaucrats. I mean, hell, and look, I've said this before on the show. If these corporations can make everything automated in AI, they will. They want to create a system where they don't have to pay anybody anything. They don't need people. So, according to our society, we are we are a capitalist economy. We're a consumer economy. If people don't have jobs, they can't buy stuff. People don't have jobs, they can't own a home. But hell, that's a legend now. It's not a dream. It's becoming a legend and myth. A long time ago, you could buy a home here in America. People won't be able to rent apartments. Hell, they're going to have us all homeless. So here's a video, Fox News of all places. Because don't worry, we're going to hear from everybody's favorite cuck, Bernie Sanders, about why he supports the First Amendment. But first, let's find out just how crazy things are going to be now.
What makes this different from all the other previous protests we keep hearing about is that you can see everything clearly.
Yeah.
How is this going to shape up for the futures of these bigots?
So student protests have been with us hundreds of years, and there's always the passion when you're young. What's different about this time is, for the first time ever, because you think about the protests in the 60s and 70s, they were shot on 16 millimeter film, very, very grainy, hard to get resolution, particularly at night. Not the case now. Everything being shot now is 1080p or 4K, even the surveillance cameras. Every single image, even at night now, goes into an AI generator and will tell you who that individual is. So I hire people. I have a lot of companies. I hire thousands of people. Within weeks, I'm going to be able, when we're doing your background check, I'm going to find this because it's going to be in there on the dark web. Those are the services we buy. It's only $5,000 to do a deep, dark check. Here's your resume with a picture of you burning a flag. See that one? That goes in this pile over here.
What you laughing about? Who would want to work for you anyways? Or is it that people can maybe do their own thing? But, hey, look, humans, we're very ingenious. We could survive. But I just want to remind the high echelon elite, there was once a time, a long time ago in this country, you never heard of it, France. There was, they had the aristocracy, the royalty were living their best lives. I mean, they were eating that good food, dancing and drinking, while 90%, 95% of the population was living in absolute poverty. I don't want to tell you how it ended. Well, let's just say everyone who was in the upper elite did meet the national razor. But that's a story for another day, because the thing is, people are protesting because, I don't know, they want to stop men, women, and children starving to death, dying in Gaza.
Because I can get the same person's talent in this pile that's not burning anything.
Right.
I don't care what university or what you're burning or whose side you're on. You'll never know why you didn't get a mortgage. You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never, in advanced education, you'll never know why you didn't get the job, because we see you now.
And they're telling you it right there. Hey, Kevin, buddy, I love you for it. Well done for telling us what you really think, buddy.
And all you need is to have your eyes exposed with a new 4K image, and for the rest of your life.
Hey, let's rewind that again. Let's do a YouTube rewind, because they just told you front and center that Big Brother is watching you.
Why you didn't get a mortgage. You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never, in advanced education, you'll never know why you didn't get the job, because we see you now. And all you need is to have your eyes exposed with a new 4K image, and for the rest of your life, you're in this pile. So there's plenty of consequences for all those people.
So don't speak out, all those people. First Amendment rights gone. And by the way, for those who would be applauding this, for those who are saying, yeah, that's right, it won't happen today or tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. But someday, further on down the road, you too might want to protest. You too might want to voice out against an injustice. And when you step out of line with the system, it will grab your face and you ain't getting no job. And just to be clear here and fair, when the people of January 6th, especially those who didn't do anything wrong, when their faces were identified, when their faces were being scanned and wrongly being criminalized, we were against that. So I don't care where you stand politically. What Kevin O'Leary is saying, he's saying that to all the American people. Don't you dare speak out against the system or anything that we do. Don't you dare fall out of line. You keep your head down and you shut up. That's what he's telling you. So if you're against the protest, fine. Hey, that's your First Amendment right too. But just remember, someday you'll want to protest. Someday you'll want to speak out. And you'll be stepping on a non-negotiable landmine, and then kaboom. Your peace and your life will be ended. You won't be able to get a mortgage. Who knows what kind of threats they could do to you and your next generation. Because the way Kevin O'Leary is saying that is, those people who protested, their lives are ruined. What's stopping Congress or government or these corporations from saying, we'll make sure that their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will be deemed guilty for their crimes forever. And that will also be applied to you. And one day when you have to protest and speak out, those laws will be applied to you. That's how we lose the First Amendment. That's how we lose free speech. So for those applauding, someday that will be you. Just not today, but someday.
Even an image that far away, AI can generate who.
Here, let's go ahead and rewind it just one more time. Won't pause it.
You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never, in advanced education, you'll never know why you didn't get the job because we see you now. And all you need is to have your eyes exposed with a new 4K image. And for the rest of your life, you're in this pile. So there's plenty of consequences for all those people. Even an image that far away, AI can generate who they are by the way the body moves. I can't believe the stuff I find in background checks now. These people are screwed.
Yeah.
What did Jesse say?
Yeah. So now let's listen to everybody's favorite cuck. Bernie Sanders. I hope you're going to do something to fight for us in the Senate, especially with that ridiculous resolution that the House did. I want to hold out for hope, but I could be wrong.
Are you ready for a very radical statement? Well, here it goes. I support the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, and this is what it says, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition.
By the way, just want to point this out here. Hobb writes, shout out to Hobb, so they can identify every one of the Proud Boys and all over the other neo-Nazis in their marches, and they just don't. Can't arrest their sons and co-workers after all. Let's see what else. Oh, by the way, Bernie, Congress did do something, you know, and when you have people like Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk basically saying, hey, did Congress basically remove and ban the New Testament? The answer is yes, because in the New Testament, turns out, you know, the Jews get blamed for killing Jesus, but let's be clear here. The blame lies on the Romans. After all, that was a Roman spear that went to the guy. And Janice Graves writes $10. Bernie, fighter. Hey, folks, let's have democracy in the chat. You think Bernie's going to fight for us in the Senate? Type 1 for yes, Kit. Type 2, no, man. You know the answer. The answer is no.
Petition the government for a redress of grievances, end of quote. Let us be clear. Protests and demonstrations have played an enormously important and positive role in modern American history. Without protests led by Dr. King and others, we would not have made progress in eliminating segregation in America in combating racism. Without protest, women in America.
By the way, who was against those protests in the civil rights movement, Bernie? While you were being arrested, there was a guy named Joe Biden who worked with Republican segregationists. Yes, that is true. People are apt to forget that. But oh no, apparently what? Joe Biden was being arrested with Nelson Mandela? That shite didn't happen.
Would still be second-class citizens, unable to control their own bodies or have equal opportunities in the workforce. Without protests, many of our gay brothers and sisters would still be hiding their sexual identity. Today, on college campuses all over this country, students are exercising their constitutional right to protest. They are standing in opposition to American policy, which is providing billions of dollars for Netanyahu's right-wing extremist Israeli government's war against the Palestinian people. A war which has already killed 33,000 Palestinians and injured 77,000 more, 2/3 of whom are women and children. A war which has destroyed or damaged more than half of the housing.
Say the word genocide, Bernie, please.
In Gaza. A war which has essentially annihilated the healthcare system in Gaza. A war which has done incredible damage to the civilian infrastructure in Gaza, electricity, clean water, and sewage. A war which has bombed every one of the 13 universities in Gaza and left hundreds of thousands of children without schooling.
I want to acknowledge a person in the Rumble chat, Citizen 421, so proud of the Aurelian surveillance state. This guy makes Palpatine seem like a tribble. Yes, from the previous video that I played of good old Kevin saying, oh, your lives are ruined. Well, for those who are applauding the surveillance state, remember, you too are also being spied in on. You too are also being looked into. I hope all of you get it. Greens, libertarians, socialists, communists, independent voters, Republicans, Democrats, Jews, Christians, Muslims, atheists, no matter the color of your skin, boomers, Xers, millennials, Gen Z. Controversial statement in a 3, 2, 1. We are all in the same boat. We are all going to go towards that chopping block if we don't defend the First Amendment. And what Bernie Sanders is saying, hey, look, I agree with it, but I just know he's not a fighter. We have to work together to fight against this censorship that's coming our way. Nobody should be oppressed by a system that's denying us the opportunity to go up. Because once one group is silenced, everybody can be silenced. It's about being consistent here, folks.
In my view, demonstrations must be nonviolent. Not only is that the right thing to do, it is the most effective thing to do. The focus must be on the suffering of the people in Gaza, not bricks flying through windows. And absolutely, we must all work together to make certain that we
Bernie was saying he was talking on both sides of his mouth right there.
Free our country from all forms of bigotry, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism, homophobia, and every other form of hatred.
All right. Thank you, you cuck. But hey, folks, Biden bets on the middle with campus protests because he's going to be pragmatic. Pragmatic Biden in the middle. By the way, young people, you think Biden and the Democrats are going to fight for your rights now that the corporations and the surveillance system has your faces on? You think Biden and the Democrats are going to stick their necks out for you? And no, the Republican politicians won't do that either. But I hope many people are waking up to the fact that these politicians, they're only in this job in government to enrich themselves, to sell themselves to the highest bidder, not work for you. And they will say things you want to hear. Bernie Sanders says he agrees with the First Amendment. He loves and supports the First Amendment. Does he? Does he really? None of them do. Bernie, Biden, Trump, McConnell, Chucky Boy Schumer, Nancy. MTG, you know me. None of them. None of those Democratic and Republican jagoffs. You think Lindsey Graham cracker gives a damn? Hell no. Think DeSanctimonious does? Hell no. You think Nikki, that's not her name, Haley, believes in the First Amendment? They don't. They're politicians. They lie to you. Biden is betting on the middle. Biden is centrist Democrat. I thought he was progressive. He never was. He's a neoliberal Democrat. God damn it. Hold on. Again, I know there's a lot of conservatives call Biden a communist or a socialist. No, you got to come up with another word. You got to come up with another word. Whoa, stop rolling up. Why did it refresh itself? Come up with another word. Use the thesaurus. Find a different word. Okay? Got to pull out the old thesaurus. Biden, a centrist Democrat who defeated several more progressive rivals in the 2020 primary this week, offered criticism on the college campus protests engulfing the nation, saying that they would not change his policies on Israel's war in Gaza and would not be protected when they turn violent. So when they get attacked by the opposition camp or the police, okay, fine, cool, awesome. The words were measured. Biden said people have the right to protest, just don't protest the system. And the president has signaled his unhappiness with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but he's not going to do a damn thing about it. Okay, look, Bassem Youssef is correct. Israel's going to get away with it, folks. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Continue on, but it was also a clear signal that Biden believes that the broad middle of the country is behind his approach to the protests, even as Republicans go on the attack by calling him impotent and saying he's done little to curtail the divisive protests. Whether it works is another matter. Biden, violent protests are not protected. The national, by the way, again, the civil rights movement, when the protesters were in the diners and they were being beaten up because those diners were segregated, whites only and colored only areas, The protesters were peacefully walking in there and being attacked. The national unease has brought back echoes of 1968, when the incumbent Democratic vice president in office, Hubert Humphrey, was defeated by a law and order Republican amid campus clashes over war. Oh, they're going to make us feel guilty. I don't know if 2024 is going to be the click, copy, repeat of 1968, but we shall see. Progressives angered by U.S. military support for Israel amid the carnage in Gaza are sure to be unhappy with Biden, perhaps particularly for his statement that the protests will not change his policies. Protesters, please be consistent here and don't fall for the bullying tactics, or don't fall for the sunshine and smiles of AOC or Bernie Sanders or celebrities like Mark Hamill or anybody else that they're going to dig out to say, please support Biden because Trump. But Democrats, including progressives for the most part, offered support for Biden's approach, including progressives. I don't think so. He's exactly right that we don't want protests that are violent. We want, and we absolutely will not tolerate anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia, or any form of bigotry, says Bernie, the cuck Sanders, who has voted against military support for Israel. Okay. At the same time, Sanders offered a warning for Biden, alluding to 1968, saying the protests could be Biden's Vietnam War. Sanders suggested Biden change course and rethink his policy in the Middle East. Yes. All right. So, I don't know. The numbers keep going down for Biden. There's Trump. Look, folks, it's going to be a tight race. It's going to be a close race. But just a quick reminder. No matter who's in office, the same fate will befall us all if we don't stand up for the First Amendment. And I want to play this video one more time because the First Amendment is at risk by both parties.
Here's your resume with a picture of you burning a flag. See that one? That goes in this pile over here, because I can get the same person's talent in this pile that's not burning anything.
Right.
I don't care what university or what you're burning or whose side you're on. You'll never know why you didn't get a mortgage. You'll never know why you didn't get into college. You'll never, in advanced education, you'll never know why you didn't get the job, because we see you now.
Mm-hmm.
And all you need is to have your eyes exposed with a new 4K image, and for the rest of your life, you're in this pile.
Wow.
So there's plenty of consequences for all those people. Even an image that far away,
Mm-hmm.
AI can generate who they are by the way the body moves. I can't believe the stuff I find in background checks now.
Mm-hmm.
These people are screwed.
Yeah.
What did Jesse say?
Fear and conformity. 1984 is here, It's not only 1984, it's Brave New World and also Fahrenheit 451. What somebody did was grab all three of those books, smash them together, and pass it out to Congress and say, hey, here's our new Bible. Keep your heads on a swivel. And no matter where you stand politically, what generation you're part of, who you worship, the color of your skin, whether you like it or not, we are all in the same boat. And we'll all be facing that chopping block if we don't defend the First Amendment. You don't have to like the protests. You don't have to like a counter protest. But God damn it, it is our fundamental right to protest and speak out. If you're going to be a free speech absolutist, you got to follow through with it. And Congress, all of our politicians, and the media, the corporate media, they don't believe in it. But my hope is that all of you do. Because if we lose that First Amendment right, it is gone forever.